Good afternoon, Wing. Colonel Perron,
Chief Reiter,
and Major McCarthy here with you for Peggy Podcast number 9. Before we get started today, I just wanted to say, on behalf of the Wing, thoughts and prayers to all the families and friends that were impacted last night by the senseless act of violence that was carried out in Lewiston, Maine. For any of our airmen out there that are in need of resources during this difficult time, please reach out to your first sergeants, your SELs, your command teams, our chaplains, and DPH. We're all here for you, and we are all feeling today impacted by what was carried out last night.
Very well said, sir. You know, small community here in New England, and we know that armed folks will be affected by this, and we're here to support them in any way possible. So thanks for starting with that. Well, it's been a very, very busy month, as they always are. And so we're going to start first by looking back on October and then looking ahead for November. So we really kind of started the month with Colonel Perron and I heading down to the AMC Phoenix Rally. And that's where the command teams all over Air Mobility Command gather to discuss all issues regarding the mobility force. And coming out of the fall rally, General Minahan released his Beyond the Mobility Manifesto that we'll try to get out to the force, and really had one giant message there: to create irreversible momentum for all things rapid global mobility. So a great event, and it's always great to talk to General Minahan.
It sure is, and that was a worthwhile week, Chief, that you and I took part in. And the message is the same. And as we talk to the Wing ad nauseum sometimes, I know it seems that way, readiness, and that's really what we need to remain focused on, making sure that we are ready at any time, at any place, to carry out the rapid mission of AMC, and that's rapid global mobility. So I know the Wing is getting after it. I couldn't be more proud. I know you are, Chief, and we see it each and every day. In fact, this last month, we were asked if we could help with some additional support for our long-term MPA missions that we have. So in addition to our 2 lines that we support day in and day out, 365 days a year, we were able to put a couple additional tails, as well as 4 crews that continue to help in the business that AMC carries out throughout this globe daily. So we'll see. Right now, those folks are on orders for at least a couple months, and we're glad to help out, and we know there is a need there.
Yes, sir. Our fly, fix, and support teams are out there and doing a wonderful job. So thank you to them. We rolled right into the October UTA from Fall Rally. And so what an amazing UTA we had, and really kind of packed it full of some opportunities. And the first thing I want to discuss is give a big shout out to our senior non-commissioned officer, and airmen and mentoring professional enhancement seminars that were held over the weekend. 2-day courses focusing on strategic leadership, retention, knowing your airmen, managing change, conflict management, and then for our aim, really, how do you lead from a lower level? How do you interview prep, communication? So it was a great opportunity to take over 60 of our members, give them an opportunity to develop themselves, and we also brought out some folks from New Boston Space Force Base there. So a nice total force package. Want to say thanks to the leaders that did that, and Steve Warren, Bill Baker, and Jessica Lee. So great. And as we look forward, we'll continue to morph that program into something that's very valuable for our airmen. So awesome weekend for that. And then you and I, sir, also held an optional hangar call, really to talk about the priorities of each group and the plan for the next 12 months and what does the year look like. This was our way to ensure we continue to communicate to our forces, and so that as a wing we continue to move in the same direction. So
yeah, I was really impressed, Chief. Again, it's an optional. We're looking to start this and do it every quarter. It's optional if you want to come, if you have some questions, an opportunity to not only ask you and I, Chief, but also the group commanders. And I was really pleased. We had probably a couple hundred folks that showed up that afternoon, and had some great questions. Going back to the senior NCO PD that was offered, again, I really appreciate the different squadrons, allowing our airmen to have time for that development. It was a great turnout. As General Minahan always says, the people are the magic, and our airmen are the magic. And we obviously need to know our AFSCs, but we also need to develop ourselves, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. So doing that mental part of the business that we do is really important, and I couldn't be more pleased with how the turnout was.
Absolutely. And that afternoon, sir, we held the CFC Fall Festival along with our Pease Relay.
Yeah, it was great. And thanks to all those that came out to participate, whether it was just to cheer on your respective squadron teams or actually participate in running the relay. We had 11 teams. We had a couple teams from the Army National Guard that came down and took part, and it was just a lot of fun. Of course, as the sixth year in a row, maintenance definitely showed up, and they took the overall lead and never looked back. But they were so far in front, I really don't count that they won the event because I never saw them the whole race. So, but a great time. We also did the CFC kickoff, so I appreciate the efforts by our First Sergeant Senior Marrier who put that together, and it was a great kickoff to the CFC. One thing I wanted to say, Chief, I know we've got a DEOC survey that's ongoing. It's scheduled to close out next month, right after drill. So far, we've had about 30% of the wing that's taken time out of their schedules to fill out the DEOCs. And I would just encourage you all to please take time. We need that feedback. The only way we're going to make improvements throughout the wing are to receive feedback from our airmen of what's going well, what needs to be improved, and how we can best utilize our resources to get after the things that we need to do to be the best A&G wing in the Air National Guard.
Absolutely. The DEOCs took about 10 minutes, did right on my phone, very simple. So please go out there. We're always looking to get some feedback. We closed out the October UTA with our Wing Annual Award selection boards for the 2023 Outstanding Airman of the Year for the 157th. This year we have, of course, another outstanding pool of candidates that really highlighted their amazing accomplishments out in the squadrons and out in the groups. So our winners will not be announced on this show. It'll be announced at the Annual Awards Wing Commanders Call during the December UTA. But for everyone that was nominated, the group winners, outstanding job, and very proud of the things you've done this year.
Chief, you got to leave a cliffhanger in there, huh? The anticipation for the December drill.
That's right. Stay tuned. After the UTA ended, we sent a few folks down to the Air National Guard Weapons and Tactics Conference and the KC-46 Weapons System Conference. So we kind of traveled to both ends of the UTA. And the point of those were to ensure that we advocate for more resources for this weapon system, as well as ensure the KC-46 enterprise is collectively working on critical KC-46 items that are improving our readiness posture as well as our fleet health. So some great opportunities to get out there and make sure that we're advocating for resources and support throughout the fleet.
Yeah, and the initial feedback was it was a great time well spent, and I look forward to getting the debrief on that in the next couple weeks.
Absolutely. So that kind of brings us to the present. So today we're hosting the annual Trunk or Treat event organized by our Airmen and Family Readiness team. We have over 21 cars, and we're thinking about 100 of our family members to come in and take part of that event. So really looking forward to that. Kind of a great way to kind of kick off the weekend. So it's going to be great, and then we can look towards November.
Yeah, I appreciate our Military and Family Readiness program for taking on these projects and giving back to our families. You know, it's so important. They're the ones who support us day in and day out. This is the least that we can do to offer an opportunity this afternoon to come in with our loved ones, do some trick-or-treating and see some amazingly decorated vehicles.
Absolutely. Well, the November UTA is all about readiness, as this is one of our block training weekends, primarily focused on our mission support group and wing staff agencies for this UTA. And to talk about the block training is our special guest, Major Aaron Clark McCarthy.
Thanks, Chief. Thanks, sir. Glad to be here, spread the word about the block training. This is our second go-around as a wing, so the biggest difference, everybody should be kind of aware of what it is. In the past, it's been a 4-day event. We've kind of scrunched it down to a 2-day format. Part of the reason for that is good news, because the units have really been getting after readiness stuff. So we were able to kind of decrease the footprint a little bit. And with that, so the basic structure is one day, all briefings, and the other day is open for CBTs, weapons quals, health fair, that kind of stuff. We wanted it in that day of briefings cover as much mandatory training as we could. So some of the stuff in there is your sapper training, force protection, active shooter. We got a lot of information protection type of stuff, which is a really hot button issue right now. We got suicide prevention. We have some record management stuff that was mandatory, the explosive ordnance hazards, sexual harassment, and then cross-cultural communication. So a lot of good stuff packed in that one day. Your unit should have the information, or your units do have the information. So the briefings start at 8. You'll either be in the BAP or the Wilbrandt. And then after lunch at 12:15, you will be in the other auditorium. The CBTs that are on your off day, really want to focus on the RAT training. The wing hasn't been getting after that as much as we can. So this is our opportunity to start getting in there, getting the RAT training. Click on a lot of stuff, open a lot of items, because if they're not open, then it doesn't even track that you're in the system at all. Weapons qualification, if you're required that, if you need it, your UDM can sign you up for it. It's in the system now. You would show up at 7:30 in the morning, building 149 for weapons familiarization, and you'd be in either an AM class or an afternoon class up at Center Stratford. That's where all the firing is done. As far as the health fair goes, there are appointments out there for that as well. The units have them. There are about 30-minute blocks, 15, 16 people at a time. There is some flexibility if you need to go outside of that block, but really try to keep the most people to those blocks, and it's so it doesn't get too crunched up over there, and they can get people through as efficiently as possible. And I'll say for all of these, if you're busy one of the days, it is okay to look at the other day. I know the Chiefs have an event Saturday morning, so if you can't do it one day, look at the other schedule, grab another seat with another unit, and that's just fine. Make sure your UTM knows, make sure you get on the sign-in roster. I think that's about it.
Well, that's great, Major McCarthy. I really appreciate the team, putting this together, taking the feedback from our airmen. We knew that 4 days was probably a little too much. 2 days might be not enough. So we're going to, please be patient. Provide that feedback, and again, we'll continue to make process improvements as we go. But it's really important. It's about giving time back to you all and making it the most efficient method of getting the required training that we need to do.
And we've seen huge success and swings and readiness with this, so it's a great program, and we're happy to see it going. So thank you, sir, for doing that. Additionally, on the Friday before drill, Major General David Michaelides, our TAG, will host a professional development event in lieu of the normal MCS. So at 3 o'clock in the BAP on Friday before the UTA. And the target audience is our E89s plus of our first sergeants and 04s and above. So a great opportunity to have some one-on-one time with the TAG and talk all things professional development. Like Major McCarthy alluded to, Chief Zaveri and I will be hosting an annual Chiefs Professional Development on Sunday. However, we put the message out there, Chief Development is not our number one priority, readiness is. So I want the Chiefs that are involved in this to focus on block training, and we'll catch them up on the other stuff. So it's going to be a great UTA weekend, really focused on readiness and the basics of what we're here to do. And then, sir, after the UTA weekend, we're able to bring 25 of our members down to Lackland Air Force Base to experience the new basic military training process and get a little behind-the-scenes tour of how they take our civilians from our intro flight and make them new, polished airmen. So really looking forward to that event.
Yeah, I'm really excited, Chief. It's been 29 years since I've been at Lackland Air Force Base. So it's been a little while for me. I'm looking forward to the changes, and I can't wait to see how the airmen are trained and how they perform. I know you and I have the honor of being the reviewing official party, and so it truly will be a humbling and a great event.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Sergeant Hannafin and Sergeant Freelove, for setting that up. And then lastly, we're looking forward to the December UTA. That's where we have our annual awards and commanders call, and we'll also host our Winter Carnival again, which was a huge success last year for our families. This year, we're looking to do it a little bit bigger as we continue to grow. Both those events are on Sunday of the UTA, with the commanders call starting at 10 and the Winter Carnival starting at 1300. And so our lead planners, they're looking for POCs in the unit. We want to have every unit have a booth to get out there and give back to our families. So a lot of opportunities out there. If you're interested, reach out to Tech Sergeant Wall or Master Sergeant McWalter. It's going to be another successful event. So really looking forward to that UTA.
It sure will, Chief. And this year we are going to build upon what we did last year. We've got a full hangar for the Winter Carnival. So hangar 253 will have the booths. So please let your loved ones know that 1300 will have that event.
And we're doing everything we can to make sure the first sergeant isn't dressed up like Shrek Santa again, too. So improvements all over the place. So Well, sir, that's it. Another podcast down. I just want to close this before I turn over to you, saying thank you to all of our airmen out there. And remember, the mission of the 157th Air Refueling Wing is to deliver flawless, total force air refueling anywhere, anytime, while protecting our state and nation, whether that's at home or abroad.
All right, the one thing I'll leave the wing on, if you see Lieutenant Colonel Pete Eschenhauer, please give him a hug. He's been a little sad as your Patriots beat his Bills last weekend, and I'll end on that.
Go Pats.